There is concern that Dez Bryant's status for the remainder of the season will be in question. Our Tom Pelissero reporting that Dez was helped off the field at Saints practice today after suffering what the team fears may be a torn Achilles tendon. Dez Bryant signed by the Saints earlier this week, looking ahead to this season, looking ahead to a potential matchup against his former team, the Dallas Cowboys, coming in a few weeks, and now all of that appears to be in question. We're joined now by NFL Network's Tom Pelissero, the man with the original report on Dez Bryant's injury. Tom, what can you tell us about how this all played out?
Well, this is all coming down within the past couple of hours, Patrick. The Saints had already decided that most likely Dez Bryant was not going to play this week against the Cincinnati Bengals, but they were beginning to work him into the offense. And what I was told was Dez Bryant went down during drills. He had to be helped off the field. It was certainly an emotional scene. People felt badly for him. And the belief right now is that Dez Bryant may have suffered a torn Achilles in just his second practice since signing with the Saints. Certainly, that would be something that would be season-ending. You're talking about a multiple-month recovery. He's getting an MRI right now. Certainly, everybody involved hoping for the best, hoping that it is not a significant injury. But as we sit here right now, the Saints do fear that they may have lost Dez Bryant for the season before he even plays a game for them.
And Tom, looking at that injury and the way that it plays out on the field, it seems like people know pretty soon whenever an Achilles is torn that will be the end. Let's bring in NFL Network insider Ian Rappaport. Your reaction, Ian, on this news, and what can you tell us about the Saints' reaction after this? Because there was a plan for Dez, and now they're going to have to go in another spot potentially.
No, there certainly was obviously a potentially devastating situation for the New Orleans Saints, and I've talked to a couple people involved in this, and it's hushed tones and a lot of frustration and certainly a lot of upset people considering all that went into this, getting Dez Bryant from being a free agent to landing on a team, turned down a couple different offers. I know he spent a lot of the offseason working to get to this point, and then just in his second practice goes down with what is believed to be a significant injury, and Tom mentioned it, a possible torn Achilles from this practice. I've heard from a couple people who witnessed it, and they all are of the belief that this is something very legitimate and serious. And for the New Orleans Saints, you know, this leaves them potentially without a number 2 receiver. They worked out a couple guys last week. Kamar Aiken was one of those guys. Brandon Marshall was another. If Bryant is lost for the season, as certainly is possible with this most recent news, then they may look to sign one of those guys, possibly Brandon Marshall, and try to get him up to speed, just like they tried to get Dez up to speed.
Tom, you had mentioned the way that some of the guys in the locker room feel about Dez Bryant. Ian talked about the feeling for Dez throughout the league. Let's get a look at some of the reactions that have been pouring in this hour. Mike Wallace, the receiver, says, "Dang, was looking forward to watching dog ball out." Dez looking forward to several games this year, including, of course, against his former team, the Dallas Cowboys, that let him go. Tyrann Mathieu, the Honey Badger, who spent some time as a free agent waiting for a spot to land, to show up, wound up in Houston. He tried to recruit Dez there. He says, "Say it ain't so. Prayers up." And then this other reaction, we'll do one more from the Jets safety, Jamal Adams, his second year, says, "No way in hell. I'm hurting for you, brother. Love at Dez Bryant." That outpouring continues on social media.